Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. In an age of algorithms and high-tech warfare, one might expect airborne soldiers to be a thing of the past. They deploy within hours, operate across diverse terrains, and maintain readiness for the toughest missions. Their speed and mobility ensure they often constitute the first wave of response, storming into danger zones in robust numbers or small teams within the span of just a day or two. Their mission parameters determined by the magnitude and intricacy of the operation at hand. For the first part of World War II, paratrooper operations were proving to be indispensable. The bravery of airborne troops had been on display in operations like El Jebel in Tunisia and Operation Husky in Italy. It became increasingly clear that these soldiers required training at a standard above the rest. Not only did they have to be super fit, but their mental attitude had to be tough, to stand and fight when the situation looked hopeless. Ultimately, their training and tactics would pay off during one of the largest airborne operations in modern history. In a daring pre-dawn strike on D-Day, codenamed Operation Overlord, paratroopers covered the skies over Normandy. Disrupting enemy lines, seizing critical infrastructure, and establishing control over access routes were all part of the mission's stated goals. These paratroopers showed unwavering resilience and courage in the face of fierce resistance, unfamiliar terrain, and scattered drops. And their efforts were instrumental in making the amphibious assault a success and marking the beginning of the end of the war in Europe. Airborne operations were born in those days, and their doctrine has not changed much. Airborne operations are divided into marshalling, air movement, landing, and ground combat phases. During the marshalling phase, paratroopers are divided into their chalks and flights, and air and ground crews ensure that the aircraft is ready for the flights. This phase also includes the paratroopers getting kitted out in their gear for the jump. Qualified instructors, riggers, and jump masters personally check the jump gear of every paratrooper. Paratroopers are required to carry from about 100 to 150 pounds, or 45 to 68 kilograms of equipment during jumps. The weight includes their main parachute, reserve parachute, rucksack, and rifle. They carry their rucksack suspended between their legs. Inside the backpack, they carry ammunition, water, rations, and sometimes support weapon ammunition for at least 72 hours. They carry their main parachutes on their backs and reserves on their chests, ready for anything mid-air. Paratroopers enter their jump aircraft according to a PAX list drawn up by the exercise or operational commander beforehand. The list may have to be adjusted shortly before takeoff after the final manifest call in cases where some jumpers are unable to attend due to sickness or personal injury. For the safety of the jumpers and the aircrew, and to make the process simpler, the jumpers go through pre-jump drills, which start at 10 minutes. At the 10-minute mark, the jumpers stand up, and then they hook up their static lines. Static lines and personal equipment are checked by the jumpers and their buddies. At 1 minute, the red jump lights go on, and the first jumpers are ordered to stand at the door. Once the green light goes on, jump masters give the go command. At this point, paratroopers start to file out of the jump doors. Their yellow static lines automatically deploy their paratroopers. The speed at which the jumpers exit ensures they all fit into the predetermined drop zone, or DZ.
Slip away!
DZ size is determined by the aircraft, which is used for the jump. Smaller teams, such as Special Forces or Pararescue Persons, or PJs, utilize smaller DZs because they use ram air parachutes, which makes it much easier to reach a small DZ. PJs can be inserted in any manner of ways, with parachuting being only one of them. PJs conduct personnel recovery and combat search and rescue operations, as well as other missions for the U.S. military and its allies. The U.S. military invests many millions of dollars in their pilots. Aircraft are quicker to replace, but not their pilots. Therefore, the PJs are inserted to locate and recover them when an aircraft has been downed. Upon landing in the DZ, the backpack, also sometimes called the paratrooper's bag, is released to touchdown before the jumper to minimize his impact. This bag may also be called the leg bag. Because of its weight, the backpack remains attached to the paratrooper harness via a 15-foot-long lowering line. Inside the typical paratrooper bag, the soldier will have items like entrenching tools, additional uniform parts, a sleeping bag, raincoat, additional optical equipment, rations, communications equipment or a radio, combat webbing, fire-starting kits, survival kits, their ammunition already inserted into magazines, empty magazine pouches, and a host of other bits and pieces. Water and ammunition weigh the most, but are crucial to the operation. During water landings, the paras still must wear flotation devices that can support all that weight. U.S. military pilots always face the possibility of ejection. Ejection seat drills from helicopters are a standard part of the U.S. Air Force's outdoor training for new pilots. It also prepares them for actual life parachute malfunctions. When the parachute suspension lines twist, it can cause uncontrollable spins and a faster descent rate, both of which are dangerous. Pilots can prepare for these kinds of challenges and perfect their body control during freefall by practicing in wind towers and with actual jumps. Canopy cutaway and reserve deployment, may be necessary if a parachute malfunctions, such as a line over, when the parachute lines cross over the canopy, or is damaged, such as with a hole. Trainee pilots are trained on how to execute the paratrooper roll or parachute landing fall, PLF, when hitting the ground. They keep their legs straight and together and roll onto their sides to absorb shock upon landing. U.S. Army paratroopers are trained at jump school at Fort Benning, Georgia. The men and women who are trained here first must qualify even to attend the training since physical demands are so high. There are 3 distinct parts to the training that each last 1 week. During ground week, trainees practice fundamentals like the parachute landing fall, a simulated door exit, and the 34-foot tower. This stage is all about getting fit and feeling confident about yourself. During Tower Week, trainees simulate the sensation of parachuting by practicing on jump towers 250 feet in height. This entails training using a parachute, a harness shed, a swing landing trainer, and a mass exit. The final week of training consists of 5 parachute jumps from a C-130 or C-17 aircraft. Putting into practice the knowledge and skills acquired in the preceding 2 weeks. Paratroopers who make it through this week successfully earn the right to call themselves Airborne, with the wings to prove it. Airborne operations can occur in any location and climate. This capability is demonstrated by the U.S. military during multi-agency exercises known as Arctic Pegasus. During this exercise, Arctic sustainment packages are deployed from the C-17 aircraft. It is an air-droppable package that can provide shelter, transportation, fuel, and food for at least 28 soldiers for up to 6 days in extreme Arctic conditions. The cargo bay swiftly opens up, and the package is released, followed by a small parachute, which provides a smooth landing on the ground. Additionally, the United States military is capable of deploying a small Arctic force for various missions, including fixed-site security, humanitarian assistance, or support to civil authorities. During the Arctic Pegasus, the U.S. military also deploys paratroopers along with the Arctic Sustainment Package. These paratroopers are trained personnel who board the plane in sub-zero temperatures and dive with almost 100 pounds of equipment. After landing across the drop zone, the paratroopers assemble their tactical equipment and recover their parachutes before moving to the base. Snow-covered terrains are challenging for large-scale military movements. Therefore, military personnel use snowmobiles to travel in the Arctic. Snowmobiles extend the reach of the military units to places where it would take days to reach on foot. In a hostile environment, military personnel can use snowmobiles to infiltrate deep into an enemy area, conduct missions, and escape without being detected. On the other hand, the paratroopers use snowmobiles for the casualty triage training, which enhances their ability to respond to emergencies and secure injured soldiers timely. This training is a part of the annual Swift Response exercises, which are very important for U.S. military personnel, especially those working in the Arctic region. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.